I'm so happy to have been able to spend this last year with you guys. I hope it's been really helpful for you. I know it has for me. I guess what I'd love to do today is I'd love for you guys to share what you feel like you've learned personally over the last year. This doesn't have to be business focused, but if it is, go for it. I know so many of you learned how to pivot, right? Like you learned how to change things up. You learned how to offer your services in a different way. A lot of you, I think, learned how to navigate and negotiate your time in the house with everybody there. I know that was a big one for me. I know that certainly played a big role this year. There's a lot of new technology that people learned. I think there's some new ways of being with clients and customers, whether they're corporate clients or individual clients, different ways to interact with people. We talked about last Monday, I had 2 speaking engagements, but I didn't have to leave my house. And I gave both of them in slippers. That's weird, right? And normally I'd wear heels anyway, but my carpet's nice. I didn't want to wear like nice heels on the carpet. We ruin things that way. So it's just interesting to see what's changed and what we've learned how to do and what you guys consider sort of a new normal. But I'd love to know, can you guys share some other things that maybe you've learned throughout this last year, what you've really appreciated about this last year? I would love to know. You say most of all that you learned to trust yourself. Well, you know how happy that makes me, right? Trusting ourselves. I mean, what else is there? Honestly, I don't think there is anything else. All we can do is trust what we're feeling and what we're experiencing in response to what's happening, right? I love that. It's amazing. I am a little bit, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm a little bit in awe. I can't believe it's been a year. And I know we talked about when I went live every single morning for all those months, but I don't remember ever feeling that in alignment in my work in that way. Like it was just so fast. Like I've been in alignment with like the courses I offer and all that kind of stuff. Like when I have time to like cultivate it and write it and delete stuff and then work new things into it and then try to make mistakes and then get better at it. But this was like seat of the pants, flying, dealing with my own stress, the whole thing. And it would just happen. It just worked. It was amazing. And it's interesting when our work allows us to do stuff like that. And I know a lot of you have experienced the same things. You learn to depend on you to solve your problems by trusting yourself more and not always asking for help immediately. That's a big one. And I think that happened to a lot of people who are used to like reaching out when something happens, like you call the neighbors or you call your family or your siblings or whatever. And it was like, I can't do that now. Right? And so this like immediate self-reliance kicked in for a lot of people and it was scary for a while. You know, I know a lot of moms with littles, right, all of a sudden are working from home. They have these kids, they're trying to school them, everything's going, and it's not like you can invite somebody in the house to help out, right? You're gonna be like, hey neighbor, can I drop the kids off for, all that was just gone. I love having this group and that much needed support this year. I feel hopeful and brighter days ahead. I hope you're right. I do too. But I did want to add a question that I didn't put in the email. If you guys are up for it, what do you not want to go back to? I know everybody's excited. I'm halfway vaccinated. I'm super excited. Like all of us are starting to like open up again. We're watching this happen. I think all of us are watching Texas to see what's going to happen, right? Are they fine? Do their hospitals get inundated? We don't know yet. It's going to be interesting to watch that. But as we start to open back up, what do you guys not want to go back to? Like what part have we learned that you want to make sure you don't go back to, either personally or more as a community? I love the women that Sarah brought to me because I really feel the sisterhood supported me in ways I never expected when the pandemic began. Yeah, I think you guys, honestly, I think the women in this group, the women who watch these videos, the women who really participate, and I know some of you watch these videos later or you watch them on YouTube or you watch them on Instagram because we try to repurpose this content because this is free. This is like, hey, I'm here to support you. I am your coach on Monday mornings to help you set up your week. Those of you that have really participated, you brought out the best in humanity. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I watched you guys support each other. You didn't need me to do that. You guys started doing it. And that is the sign of a really strong sisterhood. And I'm really proud of you guys for that. I'm not excited about the have to get-togethers or the birthdays with kids' friends. Oh, I love that we're telling the truth up in here. It's kind of like the fluffy stuff. And yeah, that makes total sense. No, I was thinking that too. Like, you guys know how much I love my girlfriends. Like, flip, we go on trips together. I love my girlfriends. But one of the things, and you guys, I used to do this. Once a month, I would have dinners where I would invite 12 women to one restaurant. We'd come together, I'd do a lesson, we'd talk, we'd share, we'd network, and then we'd end it with, what do you need? And we would support each other. And it was local, obviously. But I really missed that aspect of getting together. And at the same time, I don't want to do the have-tos. I think that's something that's happening. I don't know if it's like our age inside of our businesses, or it's just our age in general, or all of the lost innocence we all experienced together this year. But I don't think I will ever go to a dinner just because someone invited me ever again. I just don't. And I'm with you on the kids' parties and the stuff like that. I have to say, I have been so relaxed. My daughter started middle school this year and my son started high school. Both of them are home, right? So first of the big moves. Can I tell you how relieved I am that they don't have weekend parties that they're struggling with? Are there drugs there? Is it drinking there? Are there parents there who's having sex? All those things. It's been so nice that has sort of been removed from their big moves in their lives, right? That we've had this year to sort of settle into everything that's changed without them feeling like they have to keep up. And then what I'm hearing from all of us is we don't want to have to keep up either. It's really nice that's been like ripped from, I think, almost like our oblivious vision, right? That was part of our loss of innocence, right? Like, it's almost like we didn't even realize how much we were feeling beholden to the have-tos. The technology helped me this year when my legs didn't work so well. So I went back to either running around and getting too tired or canceling engagements. A mix of Zoom and in-person would be optimal. I agree with you. Like, one of the speaking engagements I had on Monday, I'm like, oh, this would have been amazing to be with these women in person, right? It's hard to like just speak into a camera and be as animated as when you watch somebody tear up or laugh or get excited. It's a different challenge, right? It's totally different. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see which businesses we run back to. Like, will the Bands Hughes of the world like come running back, or are we done with that? Right? I think it's going to be really interesting to see what holes get filled in the market this new way. Like, what gaps in products and offers and services are going to get filled in a new way, and which ones we're going to be like, no thanks, don't want that back. It's going to be interesting. I don't know. I hope, from all of the lessons that you guys have shared that we've learned, I hope we really hang on to them. I hope that we remember these times, because you guys, it's going to get really easy. You guys remember that article? He was talking about the gaslighting that'll happen once we open back up. Now, at that time, we thought we were going to open up in a month or two. So funny, right? Again, it was like layer upon layer of loss of innocence, right? It was like, oh, we'll be fine. Oh, nope, we're not fine yet. Oh, we'll be fine. Nope, not fine yet. Oh, nope, not yet. But that he was talking about the gaslighting, the great gaslighting that'll happen when we do open up, right? Like, just so the majority of the world is vaccinated, we're able to travel again, we're able to be out in public. You know, we understand how to deal with this disease now in a way that we didn't. Doctors have learned better, you know, those sorts of things. That was incredible. I even did an entire podcast episode about that, of just how we're going to be told it didn't really happen the way we remembered. You know, and we want to kind of have that be true. So I want to just warn you about that now, because it's uncomfortable for us to look at all of this and look at how much we were unhappy with, and look at how many things we were doing because we thought we were supposed to, and how much we didn't question about how we were spending our days, and how time is the one resource we can't get back, which we really focused on in the beginning of the pandemic. I hope that you guys, at least everybody listening to my voice at this point, okay, if you're still with me, you're listening to me now, hear me. Please don't forget the lessons you've learned. Do not let that outside world tell you what you really experienced here, because it's going to try. And I can already feel it, right? I can already feel it happening. And as you start to see that pressure come back in, be courageous. No, I will always support you in that. This whole group will support you in that. Come in here and post and be like, you guys, people want me to do XYZ again, or they're starting this again. I don't want to do it. Listen to you. I think some of the biggest lessons we've learned here as I see these comments come in is I learned how to trust myself. Please don't forget that. Please don't forget that. And I know we talked about Untamed just a couple weeks ago. I was re-listening to parts of it this weekend, and it just hit me even more. The world is designed, and tomorrow's podcast episode talks about this as well, but the world is designed to teach women that we don't know what's going on. The world is designed to keep women in the role of shock absorber. The world is designed to keep you in this place of borderline insecurity, but at least a lack of confidence. I'm starting to think that this imposter syndrome BS that everybody talks about, it's good that we mention it, but I almost think it's now a new cage that we're keeping women in. Oh, it's just your imposter syndrome. What, like you haven't been taught your entire life not to trust yourself. Don't give this a cute title. This doesn't deserve a cute title. This is real. You have been trained not to believe your own eyes. You have been trained not to trust your own instincts. And I really want to work with you guys through this whole next year to remember what you saw, to remember what you learned. You went through this. It was real. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And you don't want to go to an effing bounce you party? Don't go. Do you know how many of those kids end up with broken arms anyway? Don't go. Don't do it. Do things your way. Do what you want. As long as you don't hurt anybody, right? Obviously. Don't forget this year. Please. We need honest women right now. One of my biggest messages for today is just really hang on to the lessons you've learned, okay? We've been here together. You have this group. I'll always be here to support you, to remind you that you don't have to do this the way anybody else does it. You don't have to come out of this whole entire experience the way everybody else does it. You don't have to give up what you've learned just because other people are. And that you can believe yourself, and I will be here to remind you too. I will be here to support you as you push up against the norms that are going to try to crowd us out again. And then I also want to let you guys know about tomorrow's podcast episode. It's short and it's sweet, and I think it's important. So I do hope you listen to it. It's Stop Learning, Stop Studying, You're Ready. I believe that's the correct title. I wrote a few before I chose one. You get the point. Stop pretending like you're not ready. And that goes for how we come out of the quarantine too. And the way I want you to understand it inside this group, I don't talk about this part in the podcast. This is just for you guys. But for this part of it, what I don't want you to do as we come out is pretend like you want to go back to the way things were. If you don't do it. That whole idea of the stillness and the presence that we've gained through this, right? The not having to run around. You guys, I can still see clients at 4 and 5 o'clock. I have never been able to do that in my entire life because I always had to run the kids around. And so my whole practice has changed because of this. I don't want to let that go. I love it. I love it. So I'm going to hang on to it. We're going to have to figure something out, right? I don't want to be the shock absorber. I want this to work the way it needs to work for all of us, not just for everyone else but me. And I share that because I'm sure you have things in your life that are exactly the same way where you're like, uh-oh, that one's coming back, that, you know, and it's like, you get to stop that. And I want to give you permission to stop that. So stop acting like you have to be like everybody else. Stop acting like you're excited about things you're not, and be ready to fight for what you want moving forward. And fighting can just be a simple like, no. Anyway, I hope that's helpful to you guys. I hope that you remember what I just said. And you remember this whole last year. We did so much without hesitation, and I don't want to do that anymore. Moments with friends are so much more special now, and I don't ever want to go back to that feeling that I have to do this or that. My favorite part is that I have been consistent with my meditation and seeing that I can change my business direction when I want to. Oh, that's really powerful. That part, pull this towards yourselves. She's carving out the time to do what she wants to do first, the meditation piece. But she's also recognized her own internal power to be able to add into her business what she wants. I'm going to read between the lines also to stop doing what you don't want to do in your business, which you guys know I'm doing as well right now, right? And it's been very subtle changes to the website, but they're pretty consistent. And we're changing it on the daily. I'm changing language in almost every aspect that touches the public. Because I don't want to do things the way I did before. And you guys probably don't want to do things the way you did before in your business. So we're not just talking about life now, we're talking about in the business. What I love about what you shared is that you have created and crafted this time for yourself first, and that is now not messable with. And you got to keep it that way. You're going to have to fight for that because, like Julio told us, it's going to come crowding back in. Like, you don't need to meditate. Well, you're so selfish. Why are you taking that time? Your business needs you. Your clients need you. Your kids need you. Like, all that stuff's going to come back. So keep that, protect that, hold it. And then this powerful piece, you guys, where how many of you, just likes or loves, if you guys want to share, how many of you pivoted? How many of you changed something? Now, I'll tell you, on the daily, not much changed for me. I've always seen clients over Zoom. I've always run groups over Zoom. I started the sprint group, which, by the way, those of you that are interested, we're opening up another cohort in April. So if you want to join a sprint group, DM us, let me know. We'll get you assigned to a group. That got created out of the pandemic because I could feel people getting scattered. So I was like, oh, you need accountability. Right? So that got created out of it, and Coffee with Coach. That's how I pivoted. I'd love to know what you guys did. I think I'm finally allowing myself to feel the feels, or maybe this anniversary is forcing me to deal with my emotions since I've finally settled into this new pattern with your business, with my business, she says. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Is humbling the right word? I feel like that gets used too much, but it does provoke a sense of stillness, doesn't it? It's like, whoa. And I'm not sure, I haven't processed myself, I don't think either, to be totally straight with you guys, fully, everything I'm feeling too, now that it's been a year. The output for me in 2020 was so high. I don't think I understood everything I was doing until about a month ago. I hope that makes sense. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Like, Coffee with Coach just hit me. I didn't create that, it hit me. Like I always tell you guys, sometimes you get nudges, you get pushes. I don't even remember creating it. It happened, you know? And I don't know if you guys have had that experience in your business too. It's like, boom, here you go. Okay. It was just the perfect, you know, and Oprah always says preparation meets opportunity. That's luck. I don't think Coffee with Coach was lucky. I feel like it got created. I don't even know how much I participated in that other than I showed up. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes, it was like, yes, let's do this. Yes, this is what's required. Yes, let's do this. And it helps everybody involved. And so I think because of that, I don't think I've fully processed what happened. I put this shirt on intentionally today. Every time I look at it, I get a certain feeling. Like I remember those moments, like I couldn't go to the grocery store, or I remember making my husband's birthday cake from scratch and not having the right ingredients, and I couldn't just run to the store like normal, and how heartbreaking that was. Like all those things, and this shirt reminds me of that, but it also reminds me of the inspiration and the community and the group and all that's happened since. It is awe-inspiring almost. It's caused me to kind of stop and go, holy crap. Right, I'd just be a little bit more intentional with how we're doing this. So ladies, that's what I had for you today. I'm glad we got to touch on skills. I'm sorry we didn't do that more. The conversation, as per usual, I let it go where it needs to go. But as we wrap up today, I have two things for you. One, I do want you to look at what new skills you need to learn. And for a lot of us, I'm hearing, you guys let me know if this lands for you, but I'm hearing a lot of this is about learning more about how to deal with your money, how to manage your money, how to use your money wisely, how to make more money. And of course, I'm not talking about private jets and BS. That's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, that documentary, Fake Famous. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. And then I want you to be really careful about who you're following on social media. They did an experiment and made just average people famous, internet famous, like I like to talk about, and just watched how brands responded to that. And it was all hooey, she said elegantly. So looking at all of that, looking at what's out there in the world, what do you want to do to buff up your own skills in the coming 52 weeks? So that's number one. I was emotional the other day thinking about how hard it was to find masks. And then going with a client today to the mall, and it's going to be emotional. Yeah, it is. It is, right? How far have we come? And I think that's part of the emotion. I think it is, if I'm going to analyze it just really quickly before I get to number two, I think it's partly the shared loss of innocence we all experience, like looking back on that and how much we did not know. We just showed up. We showed up for each other. We delivered on our talents. We did everything we could to be there for each other. We were trying to make sense of it together, and we can look back and see the innocence of that. Like not being able to find a mask, and now we all have 52 million and we lose 5 a day, right? Like how quickly that shifted. So we can look at that as our shared growth. And you guys really be gentle and caring with yourselves as you look back on your more innocent self. The next thing is, you guys, if you want to join the next sprint, please let me know. I'm going to keep the group small. It's only going to be 5 women. I have 2 cohorts running now. We are opening it up to a 3rd because we're loving the results. You guys, what have we had? We've got podcasts launched. We've got new talks delivered. We've got media kits happening. We've got people overflowing their online programs. We have new offers coming out. We have shorter programs coming out. We have longer services coming out. We have brand new speaking engagements. Things are just, it's crazy. New membership programs have launched. So if you guys are looking for that accountability, especially check into tomorrow's podcast, see if that resonates with you. You don't need to learn anymore. You don't need to study anymore. You need to start doing. And now's the time to do, because I want you guys creating what you want before the world opens up. I want you creating your schedules, creating your goals, creating your ideas before the rest of the world shows up and starts dictating to you what you think you're supposed to be doing. And I want that in place so you can look at that craziness that's about to come in and go, no, I don't want that. I want this.